Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. We are back with another Caleb's Critique Corner. This time we are in Open Great League featuring footage from GetLairdd? GetLairdd? Let's just say GetLairdd. I might be mispronouncing that. But I'm excited to see what the battles are, and hopefully it'll be a fun team for people to climb with. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. Per usual, we're going to take a look at the team real quick before the battles get too far into it. Alright, so it's going to be a Pelipper, Galarian Stunfisk, and Trevenant. Interesting. In my opinion, I think Trevenant is actually particularly hard to use in the current meta, but there have been some people hitting Legend with it, so maybe it's still quite strong. We're going to have to wait and see. This particular lead is not great, but you kind of have to stay in. So let's see how GetLairdd plays around this. Tries to go for the catch, and the opponent stays in. This is probably going to be a Sludge Bomb. It's a good shield, and they clearly don't have an answer for the Trevenant. Spending both shields. What in the world? Okay. So obviously Trevenant is quite the core breaker for some teams. I think it's a okay catch. It is a little bit risky though, because if you don't get the catch, you don't really have any great options on dealing with the Venusaur. Personally speaking, I think I would probably rather stay in with that Pelipper. But either way, I guess it worked out there. Okay, so this is actually a pretty solid lead. Pelipper wins all even shields in this scenario. I don't think it wins the zeros, but it wins the ones and twos. Because you can't tank 2 rock slides, whereas at full health, the Galarian Stunfisk can tank 2 Weather Ball. So this should put it quite low, but we do get the shields. Yeah, I would just let... Okay, double shielding. So you get to the 3rd Weather Ball, obviously faster than they get to the rock slide. Maybe catch a rock slide. Oh, huge catch. All right. So GetLairdd clearly knows their counts. I didn't even check the elo, but we'll worry about that later. This is going to be an Earthquake, but, you know, not enough. Oh, wow. Okay. Altaria. Interesting. So this is, a little risky, but yeah. I would just throw the rock slide right away instead of throw the mud shot, but managed to get it all. So here's what I'm thinking right now. My guess is that Pelipper is going to be very strong into whatever is in the back, because Galarian Stunfisk, it kind of loses to Pelipper. Altaria beats it, so the 3rd Pokemon should be something that also loses to Pelipper, which means that this Altaria being this low on health is actually pretty good for GetLairdd, as long as you can take it out fast enough. You might get hit by 1 Sky Attack, but not the end of the world, because I think the Galarian Stunfisk is mostly energy dry. Okay, goes for the farm. I probably would just throw in the Weather Ball. I mean, you win CMP, right? So you don't have to worry about that. Like, this is aggressive farm down, but I'm just worried they need the Pelipper more than anything else. Could be a Swampert? Noctowl. Okay, that's not really unfortunate. That's more of a, I would say, a weirder play from the opponent than anything else, because them double shielding there is not the most useful play, in my opinion, for them, because they have 2 better answers to Pelipper in the back. I mean, yeah, Noctowl's kind of neutral. Altaria beats it, but not very clean. But Galarian Stunfisk is the only one that actually, like, consistently loses in all even shields. So unfortunately, I mean, again, the Pelipper was useful, but yeah, unfortunately the Trevenant just has nowhere to go. This one's a little bit over. So I think the play, in my opinion, I don't see a win con there, is you throw, if you GetLairdd, you throw the Weather Ball right away. Just get rid of the Altaria, right? The extra energy is not going to help you that much, especially because you still have to throw a Weather Ball, and then you just get chunked way too much. All right, so let's see how this plays out. Yeah, there's just no win con here, unfortunately. Yeah, tough one. Again, I'm still trying to see how useful this Trevenant is overall. I think the team is solid except for the Trevenant, but maybe I could be proven wrong. All right. Swapping. Okay. Surprisingly, the opponent threw Flash Cannon. Really? Okay. Yeah, if the opponent is watching this for whatever reason, I would advise not to throw that energy and just come and Meta Gym right away. The energy is going to be more useful, but on the Skarmy to maintain. Unfortunately, does not get to Rock Slide, but that's fine. Not a big deal. Comes in with the Trevenant, but shields the Ice Punch. So I think it's fine to come in Trevenant. I think you just let the Ice Punch go, right? Because you gave up, you don't have Switch advantage. So they're definitely coming in Skarmory. You could tank an Ice Punch. You can't really tank a Sky Attack. So it's probably better off saving your shields for that Pelipper. Because now you're down a shield and you don't have Switch advantage. Which typically speaking, that's puts you in a really tough position. It doesn't mean that you don't win, but typically speaking, it's really hard to come back from. All right. Coming with the Weather Ball. This is okay. I personally would probably throw the Shadow Ball because Shadow Ball is enough to one-shot. Yeah, this is on the tougher side. So my general rule of thumb, what I tell a lot of people is if you don't have Switch advantage, you want at least shield advantage, or at the very most even shields. If you don't have Switch advantage and you don't have shield advantage, like you're at a shield disadvantage, your chances of winning are astronomically low. It's actually not completely over, but I think they just shield through. Yeah, I think they just shield through. I think that was going to be tough even if if they didn't shield the Ice Punch. I think that still would have been really tough, unfortunately. So I think GetLairdd, I see GetLairdd tried to do a lot of catches. I think sometimes in those neutral matchups, you just have to stay in, right? You just have to stay in. You have to just play it out, because if you don't, even if you make that catch, you give up Switch advantage, right? And you kind of need Switch advantage because you really don't want that Trevenant on that Skarmory. So assuming that that last matchup, how it played out, if GetLairdd just stayed in against the Skarmory right off the bat, you take it out, whittle it down, right? Then Trevenant and Galarian Stunfisk cover each other pretty well for the most part. Obviously, a fire type in the back is really annoying, but outside that's not too bad. I mean, most fire type Charizard and Galarian Stunfisk can handle that. I mean, just think about it. Trevenant versus the Medicham and the Lantern in the back would have just been easy, right? So I think in that situation, like, yes, the catches are cool, especially if you could actually catch a move. But sometimes the catches themselves are the things that might give you the lose count, essentially. Right here, I build up to the Hurricane, right? Like, most players will not shield anything coming here if you don't get to the Hurricane. They shield for whatever reason, so okay, there's that. Obviously they get to Psychic before you get to the Hurricane, so you know, I can see why you might want to throw, but it's just like a lot of players are not going to shield in that situation. Okay, interesting. I probably would just stay in and just come in. Okay, that ends up working out. Personally, I just stay in this scenario. Obviously, it's Bastion, so it kind of works out. But the reason being, you never know, right? What if they have a Noctowl in the back? I mean, I guess in all likelihood, this shouldn't be a Noctowl. But, I mean, they had a Bastion. They should have just came Bastion into the Pelipper, so you never know with some players, right? You just don't want to hard lock in. Like, there's very little value on this Pelipper to keep it alive at this point. Yes, you could use it for potential catch, but giving up Switch advantage is not ideal in my opinion. Because if they have like a Noctowl in the back, then they just come out with a bunch of energy. They still have the Victory Bell for the Galarian Stunfisk. Noctowl hits the Galarian Stunfisk quite hard. But at this point, you're in a very good spot. Again, it's more so just playing it a little bit on the safer end, right? You can potentially avoid some unnecessary losses from that. They go Stone Edge for whatever reason. I guess maybe they, I don't know, Switch time's not even up, so they can't even catch anything. Yeah, but this one's going to be over for sure once you get the Rock Slide off. Yeah, decent no shield. You don't want to shield the Acid Spray. Ends up being Leaf Tornado, which is fine. Yeah, nice. All right, good stuff. Yeah, so Elo 2285. All right, so solid Elo. We are going into a Trevenant lead. What in the world? There's a lot of Trevenant. Going straight for the Hurricane. So in this scenario, I always go Weather Ball. If they no shield, they're in wing attack range. If they do shield, you just waste a lot of energy, right? Especially with the fact that C-Bomb is now more expensive than before. It takes an extra Shadow Claw. It's very hard for them to bait you with C-Bomb. And even if they do, the bait is not nearly as effective as it used to be. I would just go straight Weather Ball. If they no shield, you could throw another Weather Ball to force him to shield, or you could just wing attack down after you shield. Wow. Okay, well, that player did not shield. Kind of crazy. I didn't expect that. But again, I think overall, I personally would still go for the Weather Ball, because I think the majority of the time people still do shield, and just a safer play, right? But ended up working out. You can see trying to swap over. Again, I probably wouldn't swap here. Like, you're in a positive matchup with a lot of energy. I mean, yeah, it's a great catch. This swap might be okay given the team composition. They clearly don't have a great Pelipper check, so they probably have like a fighter in the back, like a Medicham. Oh, it's a Swampert. Okay, that's even worse. Yeah, I think in that situation, the catch is fine. It's just like, I'm always very hesitant about catching a move, especially on a Trevenant where there's like stuff like Noctowl that hard wall it, right? When Noctowl is really prevalent in a meta, or even a lone Sandslash is really annoying, right? Currently, like, it's just kind of a risky catch in my opinion. But, you know, I think in this situation, works out okay. Yeah, get hit by the Hydro Cannon, no problem. Have a decent amount of energy on the Pelipper. You just go straight Weather Ball from here. One Hydro Cannon shouldn't be enough. It's gonna be close, but I don't think so. Unless it's like a really bad IV Pelipper. Even then, I think you live one Hydro Cannon. Yeah, nice, very nice. All right. Again, I think GetLairdd definitely has a tendency to go for catches, which I think is good. It's a good skill to have to know your counts and to be able to make those plays. But sometimes the plays are not necessarily always ideal, right? All right. In this situation, again, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a Sludge Bomb because it wasn't caught. That's fine. Okay. Going to be a Galarian Stunfisk. I'll probably go for the Shadow Ball. I don't think you really get to another move. Yeah, and you're not going to shield, right? So you got the Shadow Ball. I'll probably just throw the Shadow Ball. But that's okay. I think Shadow Ball would put them close to Weather Ball range. So that would have been nice. But maybe you could farm down. Ooh, no, that's way too much health. Yeah, you have to throw another one. Yeah, I think the Shadow Ball might have put him in Wing Attack range or just KOs them. Oh, okay. Another catch. Man, catches galore. But again, like, see, this is the tough part, right? Well, they throw the Hydro Cannon right away, so it's probably not too bad. Venusaur doesn't have too much energy. But, like, ideally, you want this on the Venusaur, right? Like, I think you just finish off the Galarian Stunfisk. They come in Venusaur. You take out the Venusaur. You have... And then you take out the Swampert with Pelipper too. But this is fine too. You end up doing a lot of damage. All right. I don't know if Pelipper usually wins CMP or not. That's a little risky, but I guess if you CMP, you CMP. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the Pelipper 1v3 I was talking about earlier. I think you could do that without catching the move on the Galarian Stunfisk, but ends up working out anyway. All right. Let's see. Toxicroak, fantastic lead. All right. Just staying in for the Sludge Bomb, I guess. I like that. You shield to get a ton of value here. I don't think you really need to throw the Weather Ball. Like, Galarian Stunfisk already beats the Skarmory. Also, I'm even more confused. What's okay? Again, going for the catch, which is good, but I think, like, it's just not worth wasting the energy, right? I think you just come in Galarian Stunfisk. Also, the switch timer is super misaligned at this point. Oop, I don't know what happened there. So they could potentially come in Toxicroak. I guess they're not going to. Well, you can't really swap out the Toxicroak matchup either, right? I think... Oh, okay, it's a Zimro. Yeah, so I think in this situation, if you swap right away, you could burn the timer. Yeah, so now they come in Toxicroak, you can't swap out, right? I don't think they win this matchup anyway, but... yeah, personally, I'd probably come in Pelipper. It's just a little better of a matchup. Plus, you don't really need Pelipper for much, right? Your Trevenant can sweep the Zimro. This gets really dicey because, again, if the Zimro just double shields, yeah, you have to shield. I think you get to the Hurricane. Okay, you still get the Hurricane. Yeah, you want to preserve the health on the Toxicroak because the Toxicroak is a much more reliable check to a Zimro. They might not even be running Ice Beam, right? But Pelipper's just going to be way worse into it, so because you have to go for the Hurricane. Whereas you're doing super effective fast moves against the Toxicroak. All right. Not a great lead, but I could see... Oh, safe swapping the Trevenant. Interesting. Again, I typically would safe... It seems like GetLairdd likes to swap the Trevenant. I personally, again, would safe swap the Galarian Stunfisk. It's just a safer safe swap, right? If they have a knockdown back and farm you all the way down, you cannot take it out with the Pelipper, which means you have to come in with your Galarian Stunfisk, and then you're in a terrible spot too, because you have to use the Galarian Stunfisk for the Lantern, right? Going for switch alignment, unfortunately not able to. Yeah, I think that's where the C-Bomb nerf really hurts. Okay, a big catch. Again, these catches, that was a nice catch, right? You don't have alignment anyway. You might as well go for a big catch like this to expend some of the energy. Yeah, this is such a really tough alignment, unfortunately. Yeah, I think even if you go Galarian Stunfisk, they have the Meganium in the back. Yeah. It was a good shield, though. I mean, this is not completely over. Yeah, this is definitely not over. Oh, this is definitely not over. Yeah, no. I think GetLairdd wins. I forgot you had a shield advantage. Yeah, this is pretty huge. Okay. They are... Let's see if they're going to get to 1, 2, 3... Oh, I think they went a little early. I think they were 2 sparks away still. It was going to be on CMP. Yeah. Unless they had some residual energy. But I thought that they just do the surf right away. Yeah, unfortunately don't get to it. I think you just gotta... You could go for the... It's tough. Going for that catch play in general, because even if you catch on the Pelipper, they still farm you down for the same reasons. I'm sorry, I thought that was my alarm clock. I think it was GetLaird's. But yeah, that's a tougher... That's just a tough team composition in general. Go straight for the Hurricane. This is okay. But the tricky part is if they shield, right? Because now they can win alignment off of this now. Because if this wasn't a Hurricane that was caught, the Weather Ball, with all this energy, they can win alignment, right? So let's see if it's going to be Weather Ball or not. I mean, I think you know shield anyway. Yeah, okay. This is going to be interesting. I think at that situation, like as the Pelipper lead, you have to bait Weather Ball. Because you don't really have a clear answer to opposing Pelipper. So you need to grab their shields and like do something, take them out. Honestly, oh, they no shield. Interesting. You could also just stay in Pelipper versus Pelipper because you have the Trevenant for the Metacham. You don't need to swap out, right? Because my guess is they have like a Lantern or a Steel in the back. Okay. Yeah, again, another great catch. But you kind of willingly gave up switch advantage. Yeah, so it's the Lantern, right? So, this game's not technically over, but something I just want to say. Actually, no, it's definitely not over because Trevenant beats both. Is they have a Metacham in the lead. They come in Pelipper. Your Trevenant already beats the Metacham. You just don't swap. You just beat their Pelipper, which you should be able to because you're ahead on 1 energy. Even if you don't land your baits, you should still win in the 2 shields. And then they come in Lantern. You let it go down. Galarian Stunfisk into Lantern. And then Trevenant into Metacham. Yeah, this is an absolutely terrible spot, though. They're completely core broken from Trevenant, which, again, I see why Trevenant does have a lot of value here. I would probably overfarm a little bit because they get to this Ice Punch before. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a great catch, but again, they're just gonna overfarm, right? Like I would much rather get Laird overfarm here because look how much that damage that Thunderbolt does. You just farm up to 100 energy, right? Another Thunderbolt's not going to be enough to take you out, and that Metacham's dry on energy, so they can't counter down a Trevenant even if you have 10% health, right? You just get close to their Shadow Ball. Oh wait, what? They have Power Punch? Oh, this is scary. Okay. I guess they have Power Punch Psychic, yeah. So they don't have Ice Punch. Ice Punch would have probably done it, but yeah. Yeah, the moveset was definitely fortunate for GetLairdd there. Alright. Let's see. Here we have Jellicent. Kind of an awkward lead. You kind of have to stay in. Not really a clear answer. They get to the Shadow Ball before you get to the Hurricane. Good shield. Good optimized timing. Yeah, it's really important, especially against the Jellicent. Oh, they no shield. All right. Big Hurricane, and they go straight Surf. Oh, Galvantula. Okay. Yeah, I like this swap. Again, see, this is what I like, right? I think Galarian Stunfisk safe swap is so much better, right? It's just a much safer safe swap because it has more moves that could hit more things. It has really good coverage. There's only really the only thing that in Great League I really fully resist is like a Chestnut. And that's not really popular in the meta. Good optimized timing there to get the extra mud shot. Get the extra damage. Alright. Oh, it's probably going to be a lunge, which I think... no, you don't live it. I think this is fine. You probably just get shields down with Trevenant, and then I think one Weather Ball should be enough. Okay. I would get their shield first before you do this. I mean, I think you still win either way. Seed Bomb. Okay, resist it, but I think it should be enough damage. Yeah, you want to get their shield first, right? Because you could tank the move. You could tank the lunge on the Trevenant. I mean, it's not enough to KO, but they're not going to be able to take you out. Unless they have 2 lunges. Yeah, no. You throw that move first so that the Weather Ball takes him out, right? Because you can tank. But overall, still solid. 4-1 set from GetLairdd. But yeah, interesting team. I think Trevenant was honestly kind of interesting. I would almost maybe consider running it. I wasn't so sure about it, but again, Looks like a lot of teams are core broken from it, so not too bad. But yeah, overall, pretty interesting battles. I think the catches were really impressive from GetLairdd. I think definitely one of the strong suits that they have. I think the biggest thing is knowing counts and knowing the optimization. The mechanics are really good for GetLairdd for the most part. I think the main issue is going for catches necessarily when they're not really necessary, right? Because that could set you up for failure if you just give a switch advantage when you just stay in and you could just win out the matchup more clean, right? I think like catchers are great and they look cool and everything like that. But sometimes the more simpler and like basic plays are what get you the wins, right? Obviously, some of those catches were definitely pivotal. And honestly, this is the most amount of catches I've seen in these 10-game critique corners. So definitely shout out to GetLairdd for pulling all those off. I think the only other thing is try to think about what you're safe swapping. Again, Trevenant, in my opinion, is just way too risky of a safe swap. I think you want to go for the safer Galarian Stunfisk, but it didn't. I don't think GetLairdd got punished for it in these 10 battles, but just something to think about in case, you know, you start seeing more knockdown in the back and stuff like that. It's just a little bit riskier, right? But overall, shout out to GetLairdd for showcasing the battles and sharing it with me. It was a lot of fun to commentate and watch over and critique. And if you would like to also get your battles shared, feel free to send them in to me at Peng on Twitter, and I'll be sure to get to it. We have a queue of videos, but I'm going to go through as many of these as I can, and hopefully they're helpful for people. And if you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye.